Let's explore the idea together that being nice does not equal you being a good person. What if it might even be the opposite? Because if you're only being nice to get external validation of being told you're a good person or being thanked for what you did, it actually becomes sort of a form of manipulation. This was brought up to me by a therapist when we were talking about the reason for overfunctioning or overgiving or being selfless. And it's not our fault. We were trained to be this way. We were trained through conditioning that being selfless, being nice, overgiving somehow equals being seen as a good person, because we were trained to believe external validation is better than internal validation. But what if we flipped it around? What if we were nice to ourselves and we stopped overgiving and overfunctioning for the sake of someone else validating it? What if we turned inward and we dismantled all of that narrative so we could feel whole and guide ourselves to a place where we feel self-led and individuated and we feel kind to our inner world? We start taking care of the things that matter to us. We start taking care of our bodies and ourselves better. I found myself at one point not exercising in an effective way. I was just trying to fit it in a 15 to 30 minute window in my schedule because I was trying to show up for everyone else in the midst of things. And I was resenting. I wanted to exercise and move my body and feel good, but then I was constantly stopping what I was doing to try to attend to something else, and I wasn't actually getting a workout in. And I would work out at home so I didn't have to leave and keep filling in all the blanks of the reasons why I wouldn't just take the time, even a whole hour, to go exercise and take care of my body. I was constantly stressed, frazzled, fatigued. My hair was falling out. All because I felt like if I could be nice and helpful and useful and give to everyone else, then I am a good person and I will be liked and loved. That was conditioning that I had. It came from quite a bit of religious conditioning and some of society and the patriarchal understanding of how we are supposed to be. So I want to dismantle that a little bit with you and talk about how we unlearn those values of being nice and overgiving and overfunctioning, equaling somehow that we are a good and better person. I was introduced to this book and it changed my life, Women Who Run with the Wolves. It's by Clarissa Pinkola Estés. Mine's falling apart because I've read it slowly and carefully. It's not a book that you can skim or get through in a couple days. It takes time because you will hit a bit of wisdom that you have to sit with for a bit. She uses myth and reflection as an analyst. I want to read a part to you from her book and see if this strikes a chord for you. The way to maintain one's connection to the wild is to ask yourself what it is you want. This is the sorting of the seed from the dirt. One of the most important discriminations we can make in this matter is the difference between things that beckon to us and things that call from our souls. This is how it works. Imagine a smorgasbord laid out with whipped cream and salmon and bagels and roast beef and fruit, salad and green enchiladas and rice and curry and yogurt and many, many things for table after table. Imagine that you survey it all, that you see certain things that appeal to you, and you remark to yourself, oh, I would really like to have one of those and one of that and some of this or the other thing. Some women and men make all of their life decisions in this way. There is around about us a constant beckoning world one which insinuates itself into our lives, arousing and creating an appetite where there was little or none before. In this sort of choice, we choose a thing because it just happened to be beneath our noses at that moment. It is not necessarily what we want, but it is interesting, and the longer we gaze at it, the more compelling it becomes. When we are connected to the instinctual self, to the soul of the feminine, which is natural and wild, then instead of looking over whatever happens to be on display, we say to ourselves, what am I hungry for? Without looking for anything outwardly, we venture inward and ask, what do I long for? What do I wish for now? That is such a powerful part of understanding that, yes, so many things are out there to tell us what we should desire and what we should be doing with our life and how we should be acting or behaving. But when we can go inward and center ourselves to understand the importance of that, what our soul is calling us to versus the niceties of doing what others are doing or doing for others what we should be doing, and understanding what we truly desire. It's not wrong, but we are told somehow it's selfish or self-centered to move from that space. This book has so many passages, that's why mine's so worn out, on how to look inward and how we stop living from what's under our noses or what we're told we should be doing to living a life of intention and purpose. This is where we find safety in ourselves, where we start to feel the goodness of being a person versus being a good person. The goodness of being human versus trying to be a good human. There's no trying when you're answering the calling of your soul and of your purpose. You stop abandoning yourself for the sake of being seen a certain way. And you also worry far less about judgments from other people when you recognize how good it feels to meet those needs and callings of your soul. And then it aligns you with the purpose you have for your life, for the whole reason why you were brought here. It's profound and deep and completely fulfilling. If you're missing that fulfillment of life because you're over here trying to appear nice or good, this is a way to center yourself on understanding, despite the smorgasbord as it's described in her book, of all of the things that you can desire or you could be or should be, you come home to yourself, to an inner wisdom and an inner knowing and an inner safety of choosing what makes you feel whole, human, what makes you feel good. It's never wrong for you to center yourself on your heart and soul and be in integrity with those things. And the craziest part is when you do that, the outward spiral effect is it affects others in the most positive way because you're living out a purpose that you were meant for. You inherently inspire other people and become more magnetic. You inherently bring more trust into your world because you're trusting that calling, that goodness in you. And you stop reaching outside yourself for that external validation that only gives you a tiny bit of a hit and it never fills you up. It's like eating candy. It tastes so good, but it only lasts for so long. I want to challenge you to abandon the idea of being nice. For a while, just enjoy being you, being whole. And it doesn't make you a bad person. And even if it sounds or feels selfish, try it on for like 10 days. Write down each day what you feel called to, what you desire, and fully fulfill it. Give yourself space. Whether it's, I feel called to take better care of myself and I want to go to the gym and do a full workout, or I feel called to do this creative project and see it through. Maybe it's learning to paint or sew or write. Maybe it's something as small as just sitting down and crocheting that scarf that you said you were going to do. And once you've fulfilled the need, you may not need to go back to it, but you're fulfilling something that's bringing you to your purpose and closer to it. My name is April Kensington, and I'm so glad to share this with you. Be whole, be the center of love for yourself, and begin to trust yourself first.